Around the world, there are places pushing the limits of human survival to the extreme. A pool located right on the edge of a giant waterfall. A sheer cliff where honey hunters hang on bamboo ladders among thousands of bees. And a volcano that can suddenly spew ash and hot rocks straight into the sky. The threat can come from the water, from the altitude, or from the very ground that could explode at any moment beneath your feet. Some leave no room for error. Others do not even offer a warning. These are the most dangerous places in the world. Places where just one wrong step can cost you your life. Coastlines, Norway. In front of you is a rock slab as flat as a tabletop. Each side is about 25 meters wide, completely created by nature. That is Prekestolen, a place known as one of the most spectacular viewpoints in the world. About 10,000 years ago, glaciers expanded inside the cracks, forcing the cliff to split apart. That process left behind incredibly square cuts. Right in the middle of the rock face is a deep crack. The legend of the curse of the 7 couples makes the scene even more unsettling. The challenge begins as you get close to the edge. No fences, no safety ropes, just a deep, endless void right under your feet. Far below is the entire Lysefjord, stretching about 42 kilometers. Hundreds of thousands of people flock here every year. But the Norwegian government still refuses to put up barriers. Thanks to this, the landscape retains its original state, untouched. No traces of modification, and the risk, everyone is responsible for themselves. Devil's Pool, Zambia. Located right before the over 100-meter drop of Victoria Falls, Devil's Pool is considered the most dangerous infinity pool in the world. Hidden beneath the water is a rock ledge running along the edge of the falls. This is the only natural barrier stopping the current from sweeping you over the edge. But Devil's Pool is not always accessible. This place is usually only open from around August to January, when the water level drops low enough. You crawl right to the boundary and lie down. Just by leaning out, your vision is instantly filled with mist, the roaring sound, and the massive void below. Experienced guides always stand right next to you to keep you in place. Even so, the feeling of looking straight down the watery abyss is enough to make your whole body freeze. The reward for your courage is a rainbow appearing in the middle of the mist. Brilliant. So close, you feel like you just need to reach out to touch it. Do you dare to swim right to this boundary? Dukono Volcano, Indonesia. Dukono has never truly been silent since 1933. For over 9 decades, this mountain has continuously pushed columns of ash into the Indonesian sky. But the most unbelievable thing is not inside the crater. It is the people who still actively approach it. Despite all warnings, some tourists still climb right to the edge of the crater just to take pictures. Right behind them, a massive column of grey smoke billows up. Heat and the smell of sulfur fill the air. Hot rocks can fly out without warning. Toxic gas can change direction in just a few seconds. And when the eruption gets stronger, you barely have enough time to leave the mountainside. In late 2024, these images went viral on the internet and quickly caused controversy. Many people criticized turning a fiercely active volcano into a photo backdrop. To this day, Dukono continues to spew ash. But it is not a place to test how far you can cheat death. Huashan Plank Walk, China. Ahead are just a few wooden planks. Behind is a sheer cliff. And below is a void over 2,000 meters deep. You are on the Huashan Plank Walk, one of the most dangerous walkways on the planet. The path is attached straight into the rock face of the south peak, Mount Hua. The planks are only about 30 centimeters wide, just enough to place a foot horizontally, and there is no room to turn around. You hold onto iron chains, then take small steps along the cliff. Narrow wooden planks follow one another over the abyss. Every step must be placed precisely. You cannot lose focus. Today, every tourist coming here is protected by 2 layers of safety harnesses. But the feeling of fear still does not disappear. The wind sweeps across the mountainside. The walkway vibrates slightly. Your body sways with each gust of air. Just one wrong step is enough to turn your entire journey into a point of no return. Jianmen Pass Ape Road, China. If the Huashan Plank Walk left you breathless, China still has a harsher challenge. The path suddenly disappears. Ahead is the Jianmen Pass Ape Road, a path clinging straight to the cliff of Jianmen Pass, once called the most dangerous road under heaven. The footholds are just stone grooves carved directly into the mountain face. About 15 centimeters wide, not even the span of a hand. And this is a one-way journey. Once you start, you have to keep going. You cannot turn back. There is also no place to stop and regain your composure. Nazaré Waves, Portugal. A wall of water over 26 meters high is crashing straight into the coast of Portugal. As tall as an 8-story building. Welcome to Nazaré, the place that entered the Guinness World Records for the biggest waves ever surfed. This energy source begins deep at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. An underwater canyon, nearly 5,000 meters deep, acts like a giant funnel. It gathers force from offshore, compresses it, and pushes it all toward the shore. The result is towering walls appearing right before your eyes. On the crest of the wave, athletes can reach speeds of about 80 kilometers per hour. Almost like a motorcycle speeding on a highway. From the São Miguel Arcanjo fort, you can feel all that power from above. The ground shakes. Mist covers the air, and massive waves crash down right at the foot of the cliff. Heavenly Capital Peak, China. The path ahead gradually narrows. All that remains is a rock ridge about 1 meter wide, stretching 10 meters between two deep abysses. The most dangerous section of the Heavenly Capital Peak is right here on Tiandu Peak. Fog rolls in. The entire surrounding scenery is blurred out. You can no longer see the cliffs. You cannot see the destination, only the narrow path beneath your feet. Be absolutely careful with every step, because the moisture makes the surface constantly slippery. A second of distraction is enough to make you lose your balance. The railings here are not higher than waist level. All interventions are restricted to protect the natural ecosystem of the mountain. When you stand in the middle of that rock strip, everything else disappears. To the left is an abyss. To the right as well. The only thing holding you back is the thin piece of rock right under your feet. Helmcken Falls, Canada. Helmcken Falls in Canada emerges as one of the most extreme ice climbing challenges on the planet. Behind the waterfall is a giant cave. Mist freezes on the overhanging ceiling, creating long ice formations as sharp as blades. Some are as large as a bus. But that solid appearance is just an illusion. The ice here is porous, brittle, and can break off at any moment under the impact of vibrations. Climbers must check every hold before shifting their weight onto it. They tap on the ice. Listen to the sound, then decide whether the structure above is stable enough to hold their body. Temperatures can drop to -30 degrees Celsius. Water freezes on clothes. Both hands gradually lose sensation. And the risk of a whole sheet of ice collapsing always hangs right above their heads. But the athletes keep moving forward. Not on a wall, but under a fragile ice ceiling where every swing of the axe could open a path or be a gamble with death. Mad Honey Cliffs, Nepal. A rope ladder swings amidst the Himalayan cliffs. No floor to stand on. No railings. Just sheer rock and thousands of bees flying all around. The Gurung and Kulung people in Nepal have been harvesting mad honey this way for generations. The hives cling beneath rock overhangs, in positions almost impossible to reach from the ground. The harvester must lower himself from the mountaintop using a handmade ladder. Smoke is burned below to drive the bees out of the hive. Then, the harvester uses a long pole with a blade attached to separate each piece of honeycomb from the cliff. But bees and altitude are not the entire risk. This type of honey can contain grayanotoxin from rhododendron flowers. If consumed excessively, it can cause dizziness, low blood pressure, and poisoning. Every piece of honeycomb that drops is the result of hours hanging over the void. If the ladder slips, the rock breaks, or the swarm returns, the harvester has almost nowhere to escape. Cahill's Crossing, Australia. The road right in front of your eyes right now is not blocked by a gate or a fence. It simply disappears under a brown river. Cahill's Crossing is a low stretch of road running across the East Alligator River in Kakadu National Park. When the tide rushes over the road, saltwater crocodiles begin to gather around the crossing to hunt. Some lie motionless right at the edge of the road. Others only expose their back above the water. From inside a car, they can easily be mistaken for logs or dark rocks. But the danger does not only come from what is swimming nearby. The current can obscure the road and push vehicles off the path. Therefore, tourists are required to observe from an elevated area, stay away from the water's edge, and absolutely never walk across the road. Paris Catacombs, France. Paris is still crowded right above your head. Cars, trains, and millions of people move through the city. But about 20 meters deep below is a completely different Paris. The Paris Catacombs are located in an old quarry system, where the remains of millions of people were moved down from the late 18th century when the city's cemeteries became overcrowded. You walk through low and narrow corridors. On both sides are human bones stacked into walls extending into the darkness. Skulls are interspersed among rows of leg and arm bones, forming structures so even they give you chills. The officially open section only occupies a small area. Outside the tour route is a network of restricted access tunnels with turns that are almost identical. No natural light, no clear landmarks, and the rock layer above is thick enough to completely separate this place from the sounds of the city. Above ground, Paris is called the City of Light. But down below, millions of its former residents still lie in a maze that never sees the light of day. Masaya Volcano, Nicaragua. A column of white gas continuously surges up from the crater. Below is black rock, sheer walls, and a moving red glow in the darkness. The Santiago crater of the Masaya volcano is located here, one of the most active volcanic areas in Nicaragua. Unlike many mountains that can only be observed from a distance, this crater opens up like a giant deep pit right in the middle of an arid land. Heat and volcanic gas constantly escape from below. During periods of visible lava lake activity, you can see the molten surface rolling and breaking apart inside the crater. The red light reflects on the rock layers. Sulfur smoke blankets the air. But the stable appearance is only temporary. Masaya has previously produced explosive eruptions, lava flows, and strong gas emissions. Zhangjiajie Via Ferrata, China. The trail ends in front of a sheer cliff. From here, the only way is metallic rungs attached directly to the mountain. The Zhangjiajie Via Ferrata on Mount Chiching is an artificial climbing route among the cliffs of Hunan. The most prominent feature is a sky ladder about 168 meters long, running straight up the rock face. Climbers step on each narrow steel bar, with the void and mist-covered peaks right behind them. The route also features near vertical sections and suspension cable bridges in mid-air. Despite the harnesses and safety cables, the feeling of emptiness below remains unchanged. Here, the challenge is not just climbing up. It is to keep moving forward when there is no way back. Shark Alley, South Africa. Between Dyer Island and Geyser Rock exists a narrow strip of water known as Shark Alley. This place was once famous for the large number of great white sharks hunting Cape Fur seals from the nearby rocks. On the surface, everything looks peaceful. But underwater, sharks can appear suddenly from the murky waters. Tourists observe from metal cages next to the boat with visibility of just a few meters. A fin can glide by and disappear almost instantly. No loud noises, just the silent movement of a predator in its environment. In Shark Alley, humans do not control the situation. They just temporarily step into another species' territory. Chernobyl Exclusion Zone, Ukraine. A Ferris wheel stands motionless in the middle of a forest. Empty apartment blocks surround it. No lit windows, no sound of people. This is Pripyat, the city evacuated after the 1986 Chernobyl nuclear disaster. Nearby, reactor number 4 sits under a giant steel dome, while outside is a land divided by checkpoints, warning signs, and areas with uneven levels of radiation. Inside Pripyat, nature is reclaiming the city. Trees grow right through the streets. Roots break the concrete floors. The buildings continue to deteriorate after decades of no maintenance. And today, the danger does not only come from the nuclear legacy. The area is still under strict control during wartime and is not open to regular tourism. Snake Island, Brazil. Looking from afar, Queimada Grande is just a green island in the middle of the sea. But beneath the low canopy are thousands of golden lancehead vipers, an endemic species that only exists here. They hide on the ground, coil up on branches, even almost blend in with the colors of leaves and bark. With not many large prey animals, they hunt migratory birds. That makes the snakes appear at every height, from underfoot to eye level. The island is over 30 kilometers off the coast. If an accident happens, getting help is extremely slow. Because of that, this place is currently closed to the public. Only permitted research groups can set foot on it. Haiku Stairs, USA. Nearly 4,000 metal steps used to run straight up the Ko'olau mountain ridge in Hawaii. From down in the valley, they disappear into a thick layer of clouds above. People call this place the Stairway to Heaven, but it was never built for tourists. The first stairs appeared during World War II for workers to access a US Navy communications station. The route clings to the steep mountainside, then climbs to an altitude of about 850 meters. In the narrowest sections, the stairs look more like a metal ladder than a walking path. Cliffs drop off on both sides. Ocean winds sweep across the ridge. Clouds can obscure the entire path ahead. Just get the surface wet, and every metal step instantly becomes more slippery. And on such a steep route, turning around is not simple either. The Haiku Stairs have been closed to the public since 1987. Some sections were later dismantled, while disputes over the structure's future still continue. Therefore, the images of climbing stairs amidst the clouds are not an invitation. They are the remnants of a route that was closed because people constantly ignored safety limits. Hanoi Train Street, Vietnam. Two rows of houses close together with a railway in the middle. That is Hanoi Train Street, where life takes place right next to an active train line. When there is no train, the gap becomes a walkway, small chairs, coffee shops, tourists standing and taking pictures. Then the horn sounds. Everything is pulled close to the wall. Locals stand tucked into their doors. The front of the train appears and almost fills the entire alley. The distance between the train and the wall is very narrow. No fences, no platforms. The authorities have also repeatedly restricted access to this area due to danger. Train Street looks as surreal as a movie scene, but the train does not stop just because someone is standing in front of it. Kawah Ijen Volcano, Indonesia. In the darkness, blue flames appear amidst black rock and white smoke. They flow down the mountainside like lava from another world. But that is not lava. Kawah Ijen releases sulfur-rich gases at extremely high temperatures. Upon contact with the air, this gas ignites and creates a blue light that is only clearly visible at night. Right next to it is a turquoise lake, nearly a kilometer wide. Its appearance is almost perfect, but it is one of the most highly acidic crater lakes in the world. Volcanic smoke can sweep across the path when the wind direction changes. In seconds, visibility disappears. Eyes begin to sting. Breathing becomes difficult. In the midst of that environment, miners still go down near the gas vents to break apart hardened sulfur. The yellow rock blocks are loaded into baskets, then carried out of the crater by pure human strength. When the sun rises, the blue fire disappears from sight. Replacing it are the acid lake, the cliffs and columns of gas continuing to surge up. Gaoyiling, China. A red rock ridge stretches between two green lakes. Both sides slope down almost vertically, making the whole mountain look like the back of a giant dragon. That is Gaoyiling, a Danxia landform area located in Hunan Province, China. Rain and wind have eroded the red sandstone layer over time, leaving behind rounded mountain slopes, deep grooves, and narrow rock strips connecting the high peaks. The most prominent feature is a natural mountain ridge about 300 meters long. Some cliffs on both sides have a drop of nearly 100 meters. From the very center, the ground below almost vanishes from sight. Stone steps run along the ridge. They go up and down constantly, sometimes so steep that the person in front almost completely covers the entire path. Many sections belonging to the main sightseeing route have now been equipped with railings, bridges, and protected walkways. But the terrain still makes every footstep feel like moving on the edge of a blade. From above, Gaoyiling looks as soft as a sculpture. Only when standing on it do you realize that artwork has almost no room for a wrong footstep? Lanying Canyon Cliff Road, China. Located in Chongqing, China, the Lanying Cliff Road is about 1.2 kilometers long. The route winds around the Lanying Grand Canyon, while on the other side is a void over 1,000 meters deep. Previously, it took locals nearly a day just to get to the main road. In 2002, 23 households dug the road themselves using primitive tools, dividing the cliff into sections and taking almost 4 years to complete the first foundation. Today, the road has been widened and paved, but still retains sharp curves right by the cliff's edge. Some sections are so narrow that a car almost takes up the entire. Fog can cover the canyon. Rocks fall from above, and right next to you is an empty void with no railings. Lanying was not built to test courage. It was carved out because the people living on the mountain had no other choice. Half Dome, USA. After nearly 25 kilometers of hiking, the hardest challenge is still waiting for you right ahead. The final rock face of Half Dome appears, a massive granite block nearly 2,700 meters high in Yosemite National Park. Two steel cables run straight up the final steep section. Between them are small wooden bars, creating temporary footholds on an almost smooth rock surface. You grip the cables tightly, then pull your body up step by step. No mandatory harnesses, no outer fences, and the higher you climb, the more Yosemite Valley expands right behind your back. The cable section is only about 120 meters long. But it comes after a journey with a total elevation gain of nearly 1,500 meters, when your legs are already tired and both hands are starting to lose strength. The danger increases sharply when the rock face gets wet. The granite becomes slippery. The steel cables are harder to hold. Lightning can also appear quickly on the completely exposed peak. Because of this, Climbers must have a permit when the cable system is put up. Half Dome does not test if you are brave enough. It tests if, after hours of exhaustion, you are still clear-headed enough to turn back at the right time. Poison Garden, UK. This black iron gate only opens when there is a guide, because inside is the Poison Garden at Alnwick, where about 100 species of toxic plants are grown. Green plant beds, vibrant flowers, but they can cause serious harm. Castor bean, datura, wolfsbane, hemlock. Many species look completely normal, easily making people want to touch them. But tourists are forbidden to touch, smell, or taste anything. Some dangerous plants are placed behind metal cages. Nothing moves or attacks. The danger lies in humans getting too close. Danakil Desert, Ethiopia. The ground is stained with white, yellow, green, and red, like melting paint. Small pools of water bubble amidst the salt layer. Danakil is one of the harshest places on Earth. At Dalol, the surface is over 100 meters below sea level. Hot water and minerals well up to form brightly colored but extremely dangerous acid pools. Some exceed 100 degrees Celsius. Toxic gases can accumulate in low-lying areas. The top layer of salt sometimes hides the hot water below. Further away are salt flats stretching endlessly. No trees, no shade, only reflecting sunlight and rising heat. Amazon rainforest, South America. You step over a fallen tree trunk and turn around. The path has vanished. The Amazon stretches across northern South America, where dense vegetation covers all traces. Under the forest canopy, the light is dim, the air is hot and humid. Small streams cut across the ground. Heavy rain makes water levels change quickly. The flood season turns dirt roads into waterways, completely changing the landscape. Insects are the biggest hazard. Mosquitoes can carry dangerous tropical diseases. Deep in the forest, the signal is lost. Help is hours of travel away. Even a small wound can easily become serious. Bhangar Fort, India. When the sun sets, everyone must leave the ruins. Bhangar Fort in Rajasthan consists of stone gates, temples, a marketplace, and a ruined palace. During the day, wide roads run between abandoned buildings, trees grow through the stone floors, monkeys move across the roofs. Broken walls stretch to the foot of the mountain behind. This place is tied to many legends about a curse, though there is no verified proof. Prohibition signs still require leaving before dark. When the light disappears, the deteriorating corridors and stairs become hard to see. Just the fact that no one is allowed to stay after sunset is enough to make this place terrifying. From roads clinging to cliffs to volcano craters, jungles, and forbidden lands, every place you just went through reminds us that just one mistake can cost you dearly. Which location made you the most stressed? And would you dare to set foot in one of them? Share your thoughts in the comments section. If you love journeys like these, do not forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell to follow the next video. See you again.